If the player is not healthy, it's not good for us. So I think it's one of the most important parts. Players should be in good shape, should be without injuries. It's true that at some points also when you are a player and you become to go like more pro, is you need to manage the pain at points, but you need to also know the limitation of the pains. So I think it's very, very important to manage all the recovery, all the loads, because what I saw you first, if someone is injured, it's not going to help us. And after that, we can talk about basketball.
At the FIBA U20 Eurobasket in Bratislava, Division B, success isn't just about what happened during the game. We talked to the head coach of the Slovak team, and we talk about the preparation and the recovery. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your perspectives. How can you manage the workload for your players?
It's one of the biggest challenge because after the season ends, some players stop and we have like a long period of practice, quite intensive, practicing morning, afternoon. So it's important to control the load. We always talk with conditioning coach, physio to know how the players can find themselves, and we try to always control in practices the kind of drills that we have. So we try to establish a very intensive communication between all the staff to try to adjust us the better, because for us it's important to try to have the players arriving in the good shape to the championship.
And what are your experiences? This balance is working in these days?
Okay, I think it's working in these days. We have some situation, but we're more accidental, something like hits, falls, or whatever. So we cannot fight against that. That's more difficult. But we don't have a lot of muscular loads, whatever. Of course, people is getting tired with the tournament. We played 3 games in a row, so that's important. The work of the conditioning coach in recovery and physio in recovery. But I think we are happy with that.
Is managing recovery becoming just as important as preparing tactics? What do you think?
First thing, if the player is not healthy, it's not good for us. So I think it's one of the most important parts. Players should be in good shape, should be without injuries. It's true that at some points also when you are a player and you become to go like more pro, you need to manage the pain at points, but you need to also know the limitation of the pains. So I think it's very, very important to manage all the recovery, all the loads, because what I saw you first, if someone is injured, it's not going to help us. And after that, we can talk about basketball.
And in these tournaments, you have had injuries to players, or?
Before that, we have one fall and one problem in bones with wrist, then muscular tear with one hit with the knee in the quadriceps. So that's different. Now we have a small twisted ankle, but it was also accidental. So that kind of things that are more accidental, you cannot control them. Basketball is a sport of contact. That kind of things happen. What you need to try to control is the other, and also try to have the players in the best shape as possible. When something uncontrollable happens, they can react the best they could.
In your opinion, what separates players who stay healthy throughout the season from those who struggle with injuries?
There are a lot of factors, and I think it's now more and more is getting conditioning part, physio is getting more and more individual. So it's important about knowing the players, how they are. I have players with several inflammatory problems that then they affect a lot in the muscular tissues. So that could be a reason also. But of course, having a good work, a good basic work in the weight room, taking care of yourself, trying to have a better sleep, food, that help us all the time, and then knowing each player to know which are the weaknesses and try to work on that. Because sometimes, for instance, some players, they have lack of mobility somewhere and they're affected to all the chain, and you are finding an injury, but the real problem doesn't start in the point of the injury, it starts in other parts. So you need to try to detect that and try to work on it. So it's a balance of everything, and we need to take care of the players like a staff, and the players, if they want to go professional, they need to take care of themselves, because if not, you are going to have a lot of injuries. And also, when you are young, maybe some things doesn't affect too much, but you are getting a bit older, everything affects more, so you need to try to take care of yourself.
And the mental side of it, like as a coach, how can you handle if there are some injuries for of the players? How can you handle it, the mental side?
Okay, there's a part that, like coaches, we need to try to manage the things that we can control. So what we can control is trying to manage the load, trying to have a good communication, trying to have good recovery processes, good preparation processes. And after that, there are some things that we cannot control. Okay, so if someone hits and he has a muscle tear, we cannot control it. It's a hit, a fall, we cannot control it. If I step on someone, okay, I can try to do the ankle stronger, but at some points it's difficult. So after that, you need to know what you can do. And what happens always is frustrating because you want your players playing, and in these tournaments, having the best players available is important for every one of us here. So sometimes it's frustrating, but you need to keep moving on. And you cannot like put the head down because all the players will feel it. So you need to try to push on that. Sometimes it's not easy. Also, one player gets injured and you need to help him also somehow to recover, and mental processes in recovery are very tough also for players. So you need to find the balance for that, try to focus in the controllable things and try to reduce the non-controllable and try to work on that and try to move forward, because the work of coaches is to try to do the best with the resources you have, even sometimes we don't achieve it.
And this is the mindset of your players as well? Like you have this mindset that, okay, we have to move on and let's go for recovery, or?
We try to transmit them that. I think it's important. They are young and they learn. We have like nice people around here. I think they are nice people and they understand, but something that, like when you are young, you need to understand some things how they work, and that's a matter of experience. A lot of times we can tell them, okay, you don't do this, but when you experience it and that things happens is when you learn. So a lot of times we need to experience the things that are by around to learn about them. So they need to learn, and I think like yours, they have a lot of things to learn in these things of caring. There are a lot of examples in pro basketball, for instance, of players that they talk that when you are, for instance, Facundo Campazzo, national team of Argentina, he tells that with 23 years he didn't take care of himself. Then he started to work with diets, taking care a lot, and now he's like quite obsessed with that. So it's also a learning process, and we need to try to respect that kind of things also.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Ďakujem pekne.